when he led college football in completion percentage and he threw almost 40 touchdowns for over 4,000 yards. How tall was he? Because they make it seem like he shrunk all of a sudden, RC. Oh, how lively was his arm? Because all I know is somebody did that. Somebody threw for over 4,000 yards, somebody threw for almost 40 touchdowns, and somebody led college football in completion percentage. Now, I'm trying to figure out, what I try to figure out all the time, Mel, is how a guy that hadn't played football in almost 5 months, how he slides down the draft board. Look at the...
Shannon Sharpe just lit up the haters like it's ESPN meets the wildest block party ever. Shedeur Sanders just got a major upgrade, and some folks online are crying harder than their fantasy league losses. The man's on a rocket, and Sharpe's steering it straight through a wall of salty Twitter critics. And it's glorious. You won't believe who's fuming, who's stunned, and who's suddenly pretending they always believed in him.
And right now with Shedeur Sanders, he's on the clock. There's a report that he was called arrogant and brash after an interview at the N.F.L. Combine. Now, once again, this is open to interpretation. What is arrogant to you could be cocky to me, confident to me. And I think that there is a growing concern. Now, I can't speak for all of these players, but those who got NIL, that they come in already entitled. Maybe they're spoiled a little bit. They've gotten their money already. Maybe there's preferential treatment that they got, and they expect that when they get to the pros. Whether that's true or not, it's in the eye of the beholder. It's open to interpretation.
This drama's 5-star chaos, and it's serving premium entertainment. Sharpe didn't just clap back. He came swinging with a full choir, a marching band, and probably a PowerPoint titled Receipts and Reality. When the news hit that Shedeur Sanders moved from second team to straight-up football royalty, Shannon didn't just sip tea, he dumped boiling espresso all over the doubters. The internet didn't just react, it exploded. Let's keep it real. The haters have been circling for months like vultures over free barbecue. They said Shedeur was overhyped, said it was all nepotism, said he was just a flashy name with a famous dad and a clean fade. For a while, they lived in their little echo chamber, high-fiving every time Shedeur didn't drop 600 yards. But look at them now. Now that the man's finally getting the respect he earned, the meltdown is priceless.
The more I see from Shedeur Sanders and Browns minicamp, the less I believe any of the narratives that the media was trying to paint about Shedeur. I don't think that he was underprepared during these meetings. I don't believe any of these stories that he showed up arrogant and that he was bombing his interviews. I mean, you watch the film, he's on time, he's on point. You watch his interviews, he answers like a 10-year NFL veteran. Like, he's clearly dominating OTAs. It's every single day there's a new report of how well he's doing for the Browns in OTAs. And I mean, you can say what you want, it's just OTAs. Okay, if that's your new narrative, then he's doing exactly what he needs to be doing. He's on point, he's on time, he's getting the respect of his teammates, and he's making plays. So we're gonna see years down the line, something's gonna come out that I don't know what exactly it was, but something will come out about what they were trying to do to Shedeur Sanders.
Suddenly, every self-proclaimed expert's out here giving deep analysis on why his promotion signals the end of civilization. Couch critics are writing dissertations from their living rooms, praying someone listens. The truth? They're just mad because Shedeur keeps proving them wrong. And Sharpe's out here making sure the whole world hears it loud and clear. And Shannon Sharpe? Oh, he wasn't letting a single hater slide this time. He came swinging like a man on a mission, turning his platform into a verbal flamethrower aimed right at every weak, half-baked take floating around online. 1 second it felt like a sports debate, and the next it looked like a courtroom drama, with Sharpe as the lawyer, the judge, and the jury. Nobody stood a chance once he got rolling. Every time some analyst tried to pull out that tired he didn't earn it card, Sharpe came armed with receipts, screenshots, stats, and probably a color-coded chart drawn on a Waffle House napkin. He was ready for war. Because here's the truth. Doubting a player is one thing, but acting like you're personally offended that he's thriving, that's pure ego talking.
Like I said, man, when it comes to me, I'm speaking, my opinions are based off of facts, statistics, and performance. That's all I'm basing everything off of. And based off of my boy Shedeur Sanders and his statistics, bro, you can't sit here and tell me that this man is not good. Let's take away the fact that we don't like him because he's Deion Sanders' son and he comes with all this baggage. And let's take away the fact that we do like him because he is Deion's son. And he is in this situation where we want to see him win. Let's remove all of those things and look at him as far as his talents. His talents. What do you see then? I'm going to tell you what I see. I see the best quarterback that was in college football last year. Because he was.
These folks weren't mad at Shedeur's game. They were mad that success didn't stop to ask for their permission first. This outrage wasn't about football. It was about pride, envy, and straight-up bitterness. People can't stand watching someone they underestimated start shining. And then walks in Shannon Sharpe. Cool grin, sharp tone, eyes locked like he's been waiting for this roast all season. He didn't just defend Shedeur, he rebranded him. Now Shedeur is not just a quarterback. He's a movement, a lifestyle, a walking, talking highlight reel built to silence every critic in real time. Every throw, every play, every win feels like a clap back to every bitter blogger who thought enough mean tweets could kill his momentum. And let's not act surprised like this came out of nowhere. Shedeur's been putting in the work while the haters have been typing from the couch. He's been showing up while they've been shutting down, throwing rockets while they've been throwing tantrums. The contrast, comedy gold. But for the haters, oh, it's been painful to watch.
Shedeur Sanders will be the starting quarterback for the Browns entering the season. I think that they want to know what they have in either Shedeur or Gabriel before the season is over, because there's a chance that they'll be at the top of a good quarterback draft again next year. So I think they'll move quickly to getting those guys on the field to see what type of players they will be.
One dude online actually complained that the committee was biased toward performance. Like, imagine the horror, recognizing players for playing well. What's next? Giving trophies to people who actually deserve them? Total madness. You could practically hear the conspiracy theories bubbling through the comment section. Some folks swear there's a secret PR plan cooked up by the Sanders family, involving mind control, alien tech, or maybe Dion handing out sideline passes and free sunglasses to every coach in America. The imagination is wild. But let's be real for a second. Shedeur didn't get promoted because his last name is Sanders. He got that spot because he's out here playing like his last name's Mahomes. The man stays calm under pressure, throws with laser-level accuracy, and carries himself with that smooth confidence that makes haters explode into digital confetti.
Early never heard of no Dylan Gabriel or Tyler Shock. What the hell is that? So how is Shedeur Sanders going behind them? I'll tell you how. It's collusion.
Whoa.
4 different times they passed on him. How the hell does that happen? 4 rounds. It doesn't happen to a quarterback. We've never seen anything like this before. Shedeur Sanders with the watch. Shedeur Sanders with his bravado. Shedeur Sanders with this supposed arrogance or whatever. He's still bald. Brother can.
And Shannon Sharpe? Oh, he lives for moments like this. You just know he woke up, saw the headline, and grinned like a lion at a vegan cookout. This wasn't about football anymore. This was about shutting down narratives built out of pure nonsense and fragile egos. Shannon came in ready to smash those talking points like they were made of graham crackers. He aimed straight at the sports world's biggest grumblers, the ones who think being skeptical makes them sound smart. You know the type, the ones who say, "We'll see" after every highlight, but yell, "Bust" the second someone slips up. They act like if a player isn't struggling, they must not be working hard enough. But the beauty of it all, Shannon wasn't even angry. He was precise, cool, calculated, and absolutely surgical with every word. This wasn't a tantrum. It was a masterpiece, a full-on, well-crafted, passionately delivered drag session that deserves its own standing ovation. Shannon Sharpe didn't just talk, he performed. He called out the nonsense with precision, no need to yell or get messy. He didn't throw shade. He brought a whole solar eclipse, blocking out every weak take in sight. And now, the same people who were running their mouths are out here backpedaling harder than a cornerback wearing cement sneakers. Suddenly, the timeline's a cleanup zone. Deleted tweets, edited captions, and "I always believed in him" energy all over the place.
I've seen Colin Cowherd defend college basketball coaches who have gotten a DUI, come to their defense and say they didn't need to be fired, that they deserve a second chance. But Shedeur Sanders drives 40 miles over the speed limit, gets a 101 ticket, and Colin Cowherd comes on his show today and says he's out on Shedeur Sanders. He's seen enough. He can't support him anymore. He can't be in the Shedeur Sanders camp because of this speeding ticket. The hypocrisy is just
Shannon's loudest critics are now rewriting history like they were prophets the whole time. They're saying, "We knew he had it in him." Sure you did. You just forgot to mention it between your think pieces and salty memes. But Sharpe's not handing out forgiveness like coupons. He's got receipts, names, dates, and a checklist. Think Santa Claus, but with vengeance instead of cookies. You can't trash a player for months and then waltz into the celebration acting like you baked the cake yourself. And the irony? It's almost poetic. The same folks who swore Shedeur wasn't ready are now the ones completely unprepared. Unprepared to admit they were wrong, unprepared to swallow their pride, and unprepared to see someone rise without their approval. Meanwhile, Shedeur's out here cool as ever, posting highlights, cracking jokes, and acting like he doesn't even notice the chaos he caused.
Offense is so explosive because these are serious, big-time, top-of-the-line playmakers that they have. If you can go 45-42 in the fourth quarter because your quarterback set the school record with 510 yards passing. He was flawless. Shedeur is big-time. I didn't know for sure, will it translate to the next level of competition? Yes, it might translate to the next level of competition as he can play on Sunday.
He's that dude who carries the whole group project, gets the A, and still lets the freeloaders sign their names on the slide deck. But don't get it twisted. Shannon saw everything. Every snarky tweet, every smug segment, every burner account thinking they were slick, all filed away. The man's got the memory of an elephant and the patience of someone who knows payback hits harder when it's broadcast live. And as the smoke starts to clear, one undeniable truth stands tall. The game might change, but receipts never expire. The hate didn't stop Shedeur, it fueled him. Every insult, every slick tweet, every lazy doubt just made his comeback hit harder. There's nothing more satisfying than watching people trip over their own words when the same player they clowned starts stacking wins. Now, the narrative's doing a full 180. Suddenly, Shedeur is not just good, he's underrated. The same folks who couldn't even spell his name last month are now posting breakdowns and fake scouting reports like they've been following him since Pop Warner days. What a transformation. It's almost spiritual. Doubters turning into disciples overnight. The flip is wild. And Shannon Sharpe? Oh, he's only getting started, because this isn't just a win for Shedeur. It's a victory for every player who's ever been laughed at, overlooked, or mocked just for believing in their own potential.
A lot of the draft evaluators are stupid. Show me a quarterback who's not arrogant. You ever sit with a guy who's going to be a star quarterback? Most of them are arrogant. Most of them have a lot of belief in what they do. He's incredibly accurate.
Yes, he is.
He really understands not only offensive football, but he understands what you're doing as a defense. So he'll pick you apart that way. He processes quickly. Like, all those things to me are big-time attributes. And I just remember last year at this time, Bo Nix falling. People saying, hey, Bo Nix is going to be a second-rounder, and Bo Nix is not. By the way, that guy was one of the best quarterbacks in this rookie class last year. So I don't worry about what the evaluators say about Shedeur Sanders. I think the guy is a big.
Sharpe made it crystal clear. You don't get to gatekeep greatness just because it doesn't come in the package you prefer. This whole moment blew the lid off the fragile world of sports criticism. It showed how fast the loudest voices go quiet when reality steps on the field wearing cleats and throwing dimes. One week it's hate, the next it's hero worship. And Sharpe was there, calling out every flip-flop with a grin that said, "Told you so." But this wasn't just a clap back. This was a cultural shift. Sharpe stood tall, spoke up, and shut it all down. He didn't just defend Shedeur. He elevated the entire conversation. He reminded everyone that success doesn't wait for approval, and talent can't be buried under bitterness or clickbait noise. And while the haters scrambled to rebrand their opinions, Sharpe's just cruising, calm, and confident, watching the truth speak louder than any tweet ever could.
Zach Jackson and him and everybody else that we talked to have said that Shedeur looks good. He looks really good.
Yes.
He looks better. And we got Zach that say Dylan Gabriel ain't even an NFL quarterback.
That's true.
So how is it that this man can't get a rep with the ones, but that non-NFL quarterback can?
We all
what
agree
sense
with that.
does that make?
It makes no sense.
Because when the truth hits this hard, you don't have to scream. You just point at the scoreboard and let it speak for itself. And right now, that scoreboard is yelling. It's loud, clear, and impossible to ignore. The funniest part of all this backlash is how ridiculous it looks when you remember what sport we're talking about. College football, where chaos is basically a tradition and logic takes a backseat every Saturday. But sure, let's all pretend that recognizing a player for actually balling out is somehow breaking some imaginary rule of football purity. These same critics who swore Shedeur was only relevant because of his dad are now sweating through their keyboards, desperately trying to explain why his stats suddenly matter. Here's the twist. They always mattered. You were just too salty to see it. And Shannon Sharpe? Oh, he's eating this up like fine dining. You can practically picture him lounging in a velvet robe, sipping something smooth, flipping through old hate tweets like bedtime stories.
Browns don't understand marketing and branding and personality. It's their problem, and they're really in the wrong business. They're in the entertainment business. And if they thought that this was going to be a problem, well, why the hell did you draft a quarterback in the 3rd round and the 5th round? That doesn't make very much sense, especially when one of them is named Shedeur Sanders. So, I mean, this is a good thing overall for the Browns. The Browns really either lucked out, which I think it's luck if you're taking somebody in the 5th round, or strategically, after taking Dillon Gabriel, made a great choice. This is a good situation for the Browns to be in.
Once upon a time, he'd say, someone called Shedeur mid, and then he dropped 400 yards on their favorite team. The end. Absolute poetic justice with a heavy dose of irony. The louder the haters talked, the harder they fell. And Sharpe, he didn't even have to shove. He just held up a mirror. And when they looked in it, what they saw wasn't pretty. Now the media's in full frenzy mode. Highlight reels playing on repeat. Analysts backpedaling like pros. And every show suddenly pretending they were always Team Shedeur. Everyone's rewriting history like they were day one supporters, but the receipts say otherwise. Meanwhile, Sharpe's just smirking, watching it all unfold like the calm king of chaos he's become. You can't rewrite history when the internet's got receipts. And trust, Shannon Sharpe made sure of that. Every smug take has been turned into a meme. Every doubter's become a walking punchline. And every weak excuse just proves one thing. The truth always wins, no matter how long it takes. The internet doesn't forget, and Sharpe, he's the one keeping the archives alive. So what's next for Shedeur? More touchdowns, more wins, and a few more headaches for the folks who still think swagger is some kind of sin. The kid's confidence isn't arrogance, it's earned. And now that he's proving it every week, the haters are running out of new excuses to hide behind. And as for Shannon Sharpe, oh, he's just getting started. Expect more roast sessions, more truth bombs, and maybe even a future retirement plan built entirely around exposing sports hypocrisy. Because if this saga proved anything, it's that haters never learn.
The unfortunate reality that the Browns are learning in the Shedeur Sanders experience is that once a player creates a distraction, the media will continue to try to make it a distraction. From everything I've seen, Shedeur Sanders has had a pretty good start to camp. I've watched some of his interviews. He seems much more focused, humble, and clear-headed. But the media doesn't care about that. The media is always going to try to make him seem like a distraction because it's not going to ever matter what he does. It doesn't matter what kind of leadership he shows, camaraderie with teammates and coaches. It doesn't matter how good he plays at camp. The media will constantly try to poke and prod at the Cleveland Browns players and coaches to make Shedeur seem like a distraction.
They'll doubt, they'll dismiss, and then they'll act shocked when the same people they counted out come back like a blockbuster sequel that nobody saw coming. Sharpe will be right there, armed with stats, receipts, and that trademark confidence that only comes from always betting on real talent. So go ahead, keep doubting. But just when you think the flames are cooling off, the Scorched Earth Tour fires right back up. Sharpe's not done cleaning house yet. He's still dusting off old critics like cobwebs from a trophy shelf. And now, he's coming for the passive-aggressive crew too, the ones who like shady tweets but never post their own. The subtweeters, the vague post warriors, the forum lurkers hiding behind usernames that sound like expired Wi-Fi passwords. They're all on his radar now. No one's safe from accountability when Sharpe's got the mic. It's wild how fast the critics switched up. Once dismissive, now suddenly measured and diplomatic. Where was all that nuance when Shedeur was out here slinging touchdowns like prime delivery packages? The turnaround is hilarious, and Sharpe's just watching it all unfold with that grin that says, "I told you so, and I've got the footage to prove it." Apparently, context only matters after the scoreboard lights up, and by then, denial looks downright embarrassing. Funny how that works, right? It's not just the sports media tripping over themselves either. It's the self-proclaimed gatekeepers of quarterback greatness. You know the ones, still quoting games from 1997 like they're holy scripture. They've been preaching about tradition for so long, they forgot that evolution doesn't wait for permission. The game's changed. Leadership doesn't have to mean yelling at teammates like a drill sergeant anymore. Command now comes from composure, not chaos. But the game's moving forward whether those legacy analysts like it or not. And Shannon Sharpe's making sure nobody escapes this reckoning. Even the so-called neutral fans are catching some of that friendly fire. You know the type, the ones who hide behind fake objectivity, pretending to be balanced while secretly rooting for the old guard. Sharpe's calling that out too, because this isn't just about being wrong, it's about being performative. It's about the constant need to say, let's wait and see, every time a new face threatens their old school comfort zone. And when those types finally get exposed, it's not a stumble, it's a free fall. Because when you spend months questioning a player's legitimacy, then have to watch him dominate live on national TV, you lose more than credibility. You lose your claim to love the game. You weren't supporting football, you were gatekeeping it. And now Sharpe's here kicking those gates clean off the hinges. This isn't a debate anymore, it's demolition day. All that's left standing is the truth, the talent, and that scoreboard screaming the facts in bold letters. The game evolved, and Sharpe made sure the world saw it happen in real time. If you vibed with this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And we'll catch you on the next one.